Hello. Good morning, everybody. Episode number 19. 19 already? The Tasty Twist with Sammy B. I am your host, Sammy Blanchette, local musician here in Ludlow, Vermont. Thank you again to everybody at Okemo Valley TV for all your efforts. You can find me on your one-stop shop, sammybmusic.com, for ways that you can follow all my music via streaming platforms, social media platforms. I have an online website, merch store, and you can find all episodes of The Tasty Twist via that website. And also, please feel free to like and subscribe to Okemo Valley TV's YouTube channel, download their mobile app, or watch on live television. I'm wicked excited today because so far we've had all musicians on the episodes up to this point. We have our first restaurant owner, entrepreneur, Miss Ronica Humphrey of Queen of the South Kitchen in Chester or Springfield, Proctorsville. What town is it exactly?
Chester, Gassetts.
Chester, yeah, Gassetts.
On the
we could
line.
say that. For those that know where it is, yeah. So you and your husband Tom are originally from Houston, Texas, correct?
Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, very good, awesome. And why Vermont? Before we get into like the nuts and bolts of your food career so far.
Well, we didn't have a definite decision to do Vermont. We were doing the whole New England area, and Vermont just turned out to. We also own the Old Town Farm Inn. It was the right room accommodation because we had brought my 80-year-old dad up here with us, so we needed room for him, and it needed to be first floor. So that Old Town Farm Inn was the one that worked for our family.
And had you guys traveled to New England before in the past, or was this kind of just a on-the-fly road trip amidst all that?
No, I owned a property management company for 35 years.
Wow,
and
very nice.
Had the widowmaker heart attack when I was 46.
Okay.
And so it was due to stress. So Thomas and I met 2 years ago, and he saw how much stress I was under running this company, and he was like, "It's time to sell."
Yeah.
And so, not at retirement age yet. Martha Stewart in the kitchen, Thomas is Snoop Dogg on the grill. And so we decided, hey, let's buy a bed and breakfast.
Right.
And New York City is one of my favorite places to go. Thomas and I actually got married in Central Park.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we decided to start in Boston, go all the way up to Maine, the Finger Lakes, Vermont, Connecticut, look for a bed and breakfast. And like I said, we had my 80-year-old dad with us, so we needed the owner's quarters to be on first floor for him with a walk-in shower. So we spent 2.5 weeks in New England looking for a bed and breakfast, and actually didn't find one that worked. And on the flight home, the Old Town Farm Inn popped up, and we bought it sight unseen.
That's fantastic. So I have to ask, you mentioned New York City is one of your favorite places in the world, and that's kind of a interesting subject for some people because some either really love going there,
or really love it, or they really hate it,
or really don't like going there. But so you drove through the city in your experience, like a drive, or take the train?
We just got married there.
Yeah,
flew in, but then we flew into Boston and then rented a car and did all of the New England area for 2.5 weeks. Looking for that diamond in the rough bed and breakfast.
Did you happen to go to Canada at any point, like drive up to the Canadian border? No. Because you could do that. You can go along 95 along Maine, Acadia National Park. You can hop all the way around there. It's beautiful coastline over there also as well, too. Cool.
That's on the list when we're not cooking for everybody.
Yeah, right. When you retired from property management, before you got a food truck, per se, did you or Tom have any experience in the restaurant industry, say in like a brick and mortar shop, like a restaurant or cafe of any sort? Or did you just say, well, we have a specialty in cooking Southern barbecue food, being based where we were? You just decide, hey, this truck looked like a great little thing. Let's just give it a roll, and wherever we're purchasing the bed and breakfast. Yeah. Did you have any experience before that?
No, Thomas is an electrician, and then he was also in oil and gas, and so we just love to cook at home. And so when we bought the inn, it used to have the Japanese restaurant in it. Mm-hmm. And so the town of Chester was like, please reopen the restaurant. And I said, no, if I want a restaurant, I would have bought a restaurant. Yeah. And so it was like, oh, well, then do takeout. And I was like, I just wanted a bed and breakfast to do breakfast and host people.
That's fantastic. And you have a lot of events so far at your place, right?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah.
So then it became, we decided, there could be some more food here in the southern Vermont area for us. So, and with there not being much barbecue around here, we said, let's buy a food truck. We can go to festivals. We can have it at the inn. We can do catering and give some Vermonters a taste of Southern cuisine. So that's how the food truck came to be.
I have to say, so we met not only at Down to the Roots recently for the first time for their 1 year anniversary. You guys recently just had an amazing weekend. We all had an amazing weekend at the Chester Festival on the Green. Shout out to, once again, all the volunteers and all the businesses that were involved. But I really know you from social media, Facebook, and you do a remarkable job on all the local pages like Okemo Valley Community. How big, since social media is really taking over promotion and for businesses and stuff, how good of traction has that been for folks coming to your place and leading up to events so far for Queen of the South?
It is insane to think that before buying the food truck, my daughter created my personal Facebook page for me because I didn't know how to work Facebook. And now, being...
Most didn't want to years ago, by the way. Most didn't want to,
And then being thrown into knowing that social media is, some of your best advertisement of figuring out how to create posts and create events on Facebook.
It's also the devil to some degree also, too. If you know how to manage it in moderation, it can be the devil sometimes.
It sure can. But it's insane in the 4 months that we've had the food truck, how many followers we have, how much business, because we don't advertise anywhere else, of how much business we've gotten just through me not knowing much about Facebook and figuring
And you
it
mentioned
out.
you're only on Facebook, or do you have Instagram as well?
We have Instagram
too? You have Instagram, because I think I remember I've tagged you guys on Instagram before on our lovely selfie photos from Down to the Roots before too. So that's fantastic. So it's led to a lot of events and everything.
Yes,
correct?
it has led to a lot of events. We post on Facebook if we're going to be somewhere else because we are being asked to be at more events all the time.
How far are you guys willing to travel right now in Vermont?
I think that's a Thomas question, but we did an event.
Give a ballpark answer.
Since he's the one hauling it, right? We did the block party in Laconia, and at first he was an hour and 56 minutes. What? But then when we got there, and everybody loved our food.
So was that the same? Is that the same weekend as Bike Week? Like the block party? Is that a completely different?
Completely different. Yeah. But he wasn't thrilled about hauling it that far. But then when we had a good night, so he was like, "Oh, okay, well." I would say an hour and 56 minutes.
Yeah, I've played music shows out there during Bike Week before. Bike Week or not, they get a lot of foot traffic out there.
They do.
There is a lot going on out there. Shout out to my buddy Alex DeLuca, who works at Gunstock Mountain Resort, by the way, is a lifty, and he's one of the most incredible ambassadors for the Laconia region. But that must have been a really good experience. That is a haul out there, 2 hours.
Yeah, it is. It was worth it.
Beautiful country, though, I tell you.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, the Lake Winnipesaukee area is really beautiful. That's awesome. Cool. So, just tell us a little bit about the cooking process in regards to your favorite foods that you like to cook at home, which led to a passion for a change of career, getting to that. Do you guys like, you obviously try to buy as local as possible, but the different type of seasonings, the prep work, there's got to be so much involved with not just barbecue food, but just your own homemade food in general. There's got to be so much that's involved,
Yeah, well, the smoking process, takes, about 12 hours. So, getting up, or not myself, it's like I said, it's Snoop Dogg. So, he's in charge of the smoker.
With the shades on and everything too? Yeah.
Yeah, so, he's having to get up in the middle of the night and check the smoker and all that. And then as far as leading to the food truck being barbecue, that wasn't my choice at first because like I said, I'm Martha Stewart in the kitchen, hence buying the bed and breakfast and just wanting to go hog wild with so many different types of food. And then Thomas said, "You got to keep it simple, babe. You got to keep it simple."
Well, especially with the food truck, right? Because
Yes.
you're kind of limited with what you can
Right.
offer on the food truck compared to at your
Exactly.
bed and breakfast.
Right,
there's a lot
or having a
more-
brick and mortar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Being your own business owner now, it's got to be, to do it successfully, it's a 7-day-a-week job, between
Yes.
managing your finances, managing overhead, food, inventory costs, all that. Labor, I would imagine, is probably not as intense, but just from my experience as a musician, the social media alone and just managing the books, it's never ending sometimes. And like
Yeah.
you said, all the prep work and everything.
Right, yeah, a lot of prep.
Do you guys get bogged down every once in a while, or like overwhelmed, or do you stay pretty even keel emotionally for the most part?
I think we stayed pretty even keel.
Yeah.
And,
Because you
you know-
guys got a good product.
Yes.
So.
Thank you. And it's also unique to have a husband and wife team that can work so well together.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
family business
so-
component, it doesn't always
Right.
work well.
It doesn't always work, and so I'm sure that's a question in a lot of customers' mind is,
Yeah.
are they about to kill each other sometimes? The only time we're about to kill each other is when I get hot this summer. Because it's about with the fryers in the food truck, during
Yeah.
the summer, it was probably about 120 inside that food truck.
Yeah.
And so that was another reason we kind of looked in the New England area is I'm in menopause, so Texas was getting too hot for me. And then we get up here and we buy the food truck and the fryer and the camper, it's 120 degrees. I tend to get a little testy.
Yeah. Well, as we talked about at Down to the Roots, tough news to break to you. It's getting warmer up here in New England also,
Right?
too.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought I brought it with me.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot to ask, do you guys ski or snowmobile or?
Snowmobile.
Yeah.
Thomas with sports and then me with dance, and then, of course, being middle-aged, our knees don't allow us to ski anymore.
There's not much of that involving with snowmobiling. So yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of great trails up here for that. And pray for snow that we have this winter,
Yes.
because it's great for all business. Having a lot of
Restaurants,
snow. It's great for all.
snowmobile companies.
And so this will be your first or second winter
This
up here?
will be our second winter.
Very nice,
So we
yeah.
got here November 28th. And
Just in time for Thanksgiving.
After Thanksgiving.
After
actually,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then between having to furnish the inn, and then my dad being sick, we really didn't officially open the inn until February, March.
Gotcha.
And with the snow not being too great, we didn't have, too many skiers at the time. So hopefully this winter will do us all businesses good.
I would imagine with word of mouth in your first winter from people that probably led to more foot traction going into the spring and summer, right? And now people are probably meant to be gearing up like, hey, the Queen of the South people, they do a great job online. Their events are fantastic around here. I would imagine you guys are ready to be geared up for a really good winter coming up,
Yes.
I would imagine. So one event thing I wanted to poke your brain about. Have you guys done stuff like movie nights at all by chance for the bed and breakfast?
Actually, no, and we bought one of the big projection screens.
Oh, yeah.
For the outdoor ones, about doing a movie night there.
Yeah. It's amazing also, too, running a bed and breakfast. Technology has really gone, it's come a long way in that. Remember 20, 30 something years ago? Remember when televisions used to be so massively heavy on,
Yes.
on the blocks, the stands and everything? And they would cost about $1,500, $2,000 a piece. Now you've got these smart TVs that you can get at Best Buy for like 8 times less the price or whatever. And it
Exactly.
does so much more now. So now you can have those plopped in all your rooms. You can have that
Right.
in like the main living room, I'd imagine, everything.
Oh, yeah, we have big screens throughout.
That's great. Yeah. Have you guys done, you have done live music so far,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
We sure have. We call them shindigs. So we've had live music.
Who have you had there so far?
We've had Red River North.
Those guys are awesome.
Yes. Bill Brink. And Canary Crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so cornhole, horseshoes, and then the food truck, of course, is open. And then we've got another event, the last one for the fall. It'll be the Fall Jamboree, and it'll be on October 5th.
Oh,
so we'll have
fantastic.
3 bands.
That's coming up.
Yeah, we'll have
That's
3
coming up, yeah.
bands. We're going to allow tent camping.
Oh, nice.
Across the pond.
How big is your property to do that?
It's almost 11 acres.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you guys done much tree cutting or like expanding out on the property, or was it kind of already developed?
It was kind of already developed. I mean, it was overgrown. So Thomas on his four-wheeler with a machete, which was kind of scary, but he came back with both arms.
No casualties,
No
right?
casualties.
Yeah, came back. That's fantastic. Well, I mean, God, 11 acres is so much to work with. I would imagine that's going to be, for years down the road, that's going to be a tremendous opportunity to build festivals, like
Yes.
really kind of expand on that. And you mentioned Bill Brink. I'm sure you know him and his wife, June, they try to put together festivals all across
Yes.
the area,
Yeah.
right? So those would be great folks to chat with as far.
Right.
And I could certainly help you with getting
Of course, now
musicians down that way too.
Yes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now that we have connected, yes, of course.
Absolutely. So now that you guys are knee deep in this lovely little adventure that you in, do you guys get to travel much? Is there any downtime for you guys? Or
No.
no? Good answer. Good answer.
We will have downtime coming up. Our daughter's getting married in October 12th, so we'll be going back to Texas for a week for that.
Gotcha. You said she's from lives in Texas still, or
Yeah, all of our children. There's 4, and they all live in Texas still.
Nice. And what are their backgrounds for education and careers at this point?
Well, we've got the one that just was here. She graduated from Texas State 2 years ago with a film degree.
Mm-hmm.
And then the son, he graduated 2 years ago with a criminal justice degree, but he's also working on getting into the WWE in wrestling. He's actually super talented.
Yeah.
And then we've got a teacher, and then we have an orthodontist assistant.
Wow, that is a nice eclectic background right there. So your son could be with Joe Rogan, like the Joe Rogan experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What's that meme where like there was like an incredible fight and someone gets knocked out or taken down, and then there's Joe Rogan like doing the announcing, whoa! He's just I can't imagine how successful his podcast has gotten like over the years.
Right.
It's like the #1 podcast in the world, isn't it? So yeah. And I'm sure he probably started just like, hey, let's just throw this together and see what happens.
Right.
So brains could dream, right? As far as this,
exactly.
like, you know,
Right.
yeah.
Look at yours.
Because I'm having a blast. Yeah, I'm having a blast. Yeah. And hopefully you are so as well
Yes.
too. You guys have any favorite hobbies outside of cooking and stuff?
Hunting, fishing.
Yeah. What do you like going out to do that? You travel out to Montana?
No, well, being from Texas, you
You could do that down there.
Yeah, you can do it down
Texas is just so massive.
It is.
I've only been there once, Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah,
Yep, I lived in Dallas for 20-something years.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned Austin in the warm up before recording. I just want to go see the old Stevie Ray Vaughan statue. Just hold a piece of my heart of Austin. But I've heard it's one of the music capitals outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
In the country. Austin
Yep.
is just
Sure is.
amazing.
Keep Austin weird, as they're saying.
As they're saying, they say that about Vermont also as well too. Yeah, that's fabulous. So yeah, you guys follow sports? Have any like favorite like musicians? Do you guys like sports? Follow
Go
sports?
Texas Rangers.
Go Texas Rangers! Yeah, they won last
That
year.
is baseball,
right?
by the way,
That
just in
is.
case you don't know.
Arlington,
Yes.
Texas. Yes. I've always wanted to do a ballpark tour for baseball.
Oh, that would
Travel across the country.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been to Fenway Park, the old Shea Stadium with the Mets, and then Coors Field, the Rockies in Denver.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Nice.
But Pittsburgh would be cool. Baltimore would be awesome. And Arlington, Texas would be cool just because, hey, Texas, the Lone Star, it's just like, and I like their uniforms also too. So
great.
They were in first place for a little while this year, right?
Well, no.
Well, they were.
Yeah.
I pay attention to this stuff. Yeah.
I surprised Thomas last year for being such a fabulous husband and took him to the
Yay,
World
Tom.
Series.
Yes.
Yeah, so we experienced our first World Series last year.
Yeah, and that was that a sweep of the Diamondbacks?
I'd have to.
Arizona?
I can't remember. No, it was close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was very close.
And was that Texas's first World Championship?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. The stadium's got to be pretty big, like 40, and it's a brand new stadium from
It
a
is.
couple
I
of
mean,
years
they
ago.
just had a stadium before that, not too old, and then they built the new one with the retractable.
Gotcha. All right, how about football? You got either the Cowboys or the Texans?
No Pro Bowl.
No Pro Bowl?
No pro football. No.
No pro bono football? No.
College ball, yes.
College ball.
College ball.
Longhorns? Just
TCU.
a logo? TCU.
Go
okay.
Frogs.
Yeah. I have an old Texas Longhorns hat back at my parents' house in Connecticut. And it was only because of the logo. The logo looked so cool. So who was the big star from there? Was it Reggie? No, not Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was, what was he, USC? I forget.
I'm not.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm going deep in the sport. Sorry.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Sorry. You guys have favorite musicians? Like favorite music you like listening to?
We like all styles of music.
Yeah.
Don't really have a favorite.
You guys into country as much as
yes.
what the South?
Yeah.
You got a favorite country artist?
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. Man, he's exploded the last year or so.
Yes. Luke Combs. Chris Stapleton.
How about Post Malone going back to country, huh?
I don't know. That's kind of like Beyonce doing country.
I don't know, though. See, hold on, though. Time out. I got clarification from people the other day. I think Post Malone's career started as a country artist. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't keep up with him.
I don't know. I like it. He's collaborating with Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had some good songs out recently.
As someone that has had 18 episodes of Vermont Musicians so far, I love the healthy competition for musicians. And that's one of the things I've loved about since moving up here from Connecticut, my time in Vermont as a musician. There's a healthy competition and promotion of like the local artists with each other. So do you guys feel that way about, restaurants and food trucks, like everybody kind of helping each other out?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more food trucks in this area.
I agree.
I don't think we have enough.
I agree. Yeah. Is there any other food that catches your interest as far as what you would dabble with besides barbecue?
Well, funny you should say that,
Funny
Sammy.
you should say. Yeah. Smile, you're on camera.
I feel like that's all I've been doing.
YOLO. Yeah.
We're actually probably going to be changing the menu.
Are you?
In November.
Very nice.
Brisket, barbecue, it's kind of a summer thing. I mean, yes, it can go all year round. But, being up here with the cold and snow,
How about barbecue pizza? Barbecue
pizza.
pizza.
It's not on the menu, but I make it for Thomas, and Thomas doesn't like pizza. And he asked for that two nights in a row.
Yes.
2 nights in a row, my barbecue pizza.
Right.
But, so we're going to switch
What do you find it being the key with pizza? The dough, the sauce, the meat, the cheese, all of the above?
All the above.
All the above. I think it is, personally, I love the crust and the type of dough more than anything else. Because my girlfriend's mom, she's her own worst critic. Barbecue Puto, shout out to you. Barb and Mike and Erica, my lovely lady. Love you. She makes a mean pizza. My opinion, she makes a mean pizza. And she's like, well, I don't know. I didn't like the way this was like cooked and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, stop. The crust is good. Well, all right, if you say so. So that could be a good segue. Are you guys like your own worst critics, or are you confident? Like, I have a hard time back and forth going as a solo artist primarily of being my own worst critic or being confident in what I do. Always room for improvement, basically?
Always room for improvement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But, once you're making something every day, it just, you find yourself that you've perfected that, right?
Yeah.
If you're making it every day, practice makes perfection.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You mentioned your daughter got you guys going with Facebook, or like to a liking of Facebook, personally and as a business account. Do you have her do any sort of other online promotion for you to kind of relieve some of the duties as you're working on like the events and the food truck prep and everything? Or
well, that's a funny story, because I actually asked her if she would help and offered to pay, since she's barely making ends meet, working at Target, but and she is being a film major, and a social media guru.
Have her come up to Okemo Valley TV.
I know.
Spread the love. These guys are
Right?
great. They're doing a fabulous job with the Tasty Twist podcast.
So
yeah.
it asked her to start helping me out and that I'd actually pay her. But of course, she's 24.
Right. She'll
Right.
figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money's not important right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, it's always good to follow your dreams, right? You
Right.
know, hey, I'm 35 and I'm kind of still figuring it out. I don't know.
Right.
Right? Figure it out. It kind of goes day to day, you know?
does.
I do have to say, though, I have liked over the years, I didn't think this 10 years ago, but I like having the balance of working for the man and also being the man. Because sometimes when you're just solely the man, it's great. It's your baby, it's your product. But every once in a while, you do get burned out. You have those days where it's, okay, I would like to, even just part-time, punch in and punch out and not take anything home. You ever get that feeling, like still, or not really anymore?
Oh, heck no.
Heck no. So that'd be the advice for your daughter, like, hey, you know,
Well-
do your own thing.
You either have, I would tell her all the time, you either have a business mentality or you have a job mentality.
Right.
And it's much better to have the business mentality.
And how do you think one develops the business mentality? Is it experience working in a small business? Is it just the confidence gene? Like, is it?
I think it's confidence, Gene.
Confidence gene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
of having the confidence to go out on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also sticking with it, right? That's got to be the hardest thing, I would think, is sticking with it. Yeah. Because I've been burnt out many a times doing this already. I haven't really told many people this, but I got to like a certain age where I'm just like, stick with it. People are hiring you. Just fight the fight your brain, fight your ego, and just get comfortable with it and just realize, hey, no matter what, people are going to like what you do. So I would imagine that certainly goes with the restaurant industry also as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's some mornings that, you know, I wake up and it's like, oh, do I want to make another pot of macaroni and cheese?
Yeah.
And I'm sure, you know, Thomas does it, you know, when that alarm clock goes off at 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Got to go check the smoker again, really?
What do you think is the biggest turnoff as far as a startup restaurant or food truck? And I bring that up because something just popped up in my mind as we were thinking. The whole thing of keeping it simple and knowing what you know. I love going out to restaurants and bars, but sometimes when a menu is so complicated, when it looks like a Bible, I just like, man, there's too many choices. I can't decide from like this much.
You get overwhelmed.
Yeah, you get overwhelmed. So do you guys, but the point is, keeping it simple seems like a pretty simple philosophy to start at least, right? You know, yeah.
As far as food costs and, you know, just keeping it simple like that.
Yeah. Now with the restaurant, do you guys also, have you gone into serving alcohol licensing? Do you guys do that yet at the restaurant, or haven't gotten
No,
that
Thomas
far
and I
yet?
discussed it. You know, did we really want the liability?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have festivals and keep people there, but then again, you have to have the area fenced off, and there's just all that different. Yeah. Could be something to consider going forward if business goes well. You know,
we've
you never
talked
know.
about it many of times.
Yeah. We're also going to have to talk about, if you guys don't have it already yet, you know, T-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that stuff as well too. The other part of the marketing as well too. So
It's funny, at the Chester Festival, we had a customer come up. He loves our logo so much, and
it's a great logo. Yeah,
thank you.
no, it's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Tyler
Yeah.
at the Hartness House actually created that for me. I didn't even ask him to.
Yeah.
So he said, I love your logo. I love your food. I'd be the first person. You need to get T-shirts, and I'll be the first person to wear it. So that's something to think about. I also kind of think sometimes that you can go too crazy with your logo stuff. You know, if you're first starting out, you don't want to spend too much of your budget, you know, on that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Here's an interesting segue also too. One thing I learned years ago, working with my family in Connecticut, they actually advised me, like on off hours, to put on just a different type of clothing attire to go out to like a Dick's Sporting Goods or like a Bob store or something to kind of scope out the other businesses to see what they're doing. So I ask you, do you guys go out to other places to eat or travel anywhere else in Vermont and just kind of take notes of like what other places are doing that you can kind of like, oh, okay, we can add that to our lineup or add that to our rapport? No comment? Yeah. Never know, yeah.
Yeah, you never know. That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
We're pretty much, stuck at the house pretty much all 24/7 cooking. So, but we venture out every once in a while to go out to eat.
That's awesome, yeah. What's your favorite place in the world that you've ever traveled to?
Favorite place?
Could be another country, obviously. I said the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so far it's been Alaska.
Did you fly into Alaska or
No,
fly
cruise.
to cruise?
Cruise.
So you did Seattle and then up?
Yes. Yeah.
So my girlfriend and her parents did that last year, and they said it was an absolute blast.
Done it 4 or 5 times.
Have you?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Love it.
Alaska just looks so massive.
It is. It's beautiful though.
I was chatting with a guest yesterday. He spent time out in Hawaii for many years. And that's another thing, putting on my geographic cap. How far out off of the coast of California Hawaii is? Looks pretty wild.
Yeah.
And they're so supportive of culture and music out there, too.
They are.
Have you ever been to Hawaii?
No, it's too touristy for me. And Thomas
Too
and
much
I,
lava, too much magma from Kilauea also,
well,
too.
Thomas and I, we're more mountain people.
Yeah.
Snow people, hence
Yeah.
why we're here.
That's awesome,
Versus
yeah.
being on a beach somewhere in Mexico.
That's awesome.
We're not beach people.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think you're in a great spot off of Route 10 because you have access from the Okemo community, Stratton, Magic. Magic's a fun time. Have you ever done any events over there at the Black Line Tavern or collaborated over there?
No, passed by it a couple of times
Be a
and
great
always
place to
see
look
their
into.
marquee.
Yeah.
That they've constantly have something going on over there.
Great bands over there too that always play. Big Grateful Dead fans over there too. So I'm sure they would love the Southern barbecue
Right?
food. Yeah, absolutely as well too. Any special shout outs to people that you want to give on this podcast episode?
Oh, I would say Scott Blair down to the
Yeah,
Roots.
Scotty boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler at the Harkness House when they had their summer music fest or concert series with the town, the community concert band playing every Tuesday. They asked us to be there with the food truck during the summer, so we were there every Tuesday this whole summer.
Gotcha. And give a shout out to your kids also too
Yes.
and everything too.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's gonna be exciting. The wedding you said coming up for your daughter
Yes.
and everything,
Yeah.
right? That's fantastic. Awesome. Scott and everybody in Chester have been superstars as far as promoting and events and everything. They always have like so much on their plates, just like yourself
Yes.
as well too. So last major question also too. Any advice you would give to anybody that's looking to go out on their own? It could be food truck, bed and breakfast, anything. Any advice you want to give to like anybody that's like tuning into this episode?
I'm just get involved with your community. Thomas and I've only been here 10 months. We've been in Texas all of our lives, and we've made better friends in the last 10 months than we ever had in 50-something years in Texas.
Vermont's excellent for that, isn't
Yes,
it?
it really is. And then just
community.
getting involved with the community and the locals, and word of mouth is fantastic.
Yeah,
We talked about social media being the best advertisement, but word of mouth too.
I think word of mouth is still the most important
It is.
thing. Yeah. And having the face-to-face communication,
Right.
we talked about that before
Yeah.
too, how important this is
Yes.
for anybody. And that's one thing I strive to musicians all the time too, is just do not be afraid, whether it's a podcast or whether it's verbal phone call or like face-to-face chat. I'm like, don't be afraid to get in front of people's faces to do business and or just be a friend.
Right.
Do not be sold on just the screens.
Yes.
If you have the time, check in with people face to face.
Right, right.
It's refreshing,
It is.
It's beyond refreshing.
It is.
You know?
Especially after we were so, all cooped up for so long during COVID.
Man.
It's still refreshing to.
Yeah. How was that for you guys, the experience, COVID, just personally?
just, shut down and everything like that.
Yeah.
It was, and I think there's a lot of people, I think it did a lot of harm. I think it's, made a lot of people more self-centered.
Yeah.
And still, because, when you were cooped up and everything was shut down, all you did was think about yourself then because you couldn't be around anybody. And I think there's a lot of people in society that have not come out of that yet.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I can take from it is I think 4.5 years later, I think there's just so much unknown that we don't know.
Right.
And yeah, that's another thing. Just checking in on people's mental health. It's so darn important. But
Yes.
I'm so happy that the world itself seems to be coming out of it, that there is more normal times back to comfortable live music scene settings and catering events and just all that stuff. Again, it's like we said, it's good to have the face-to-face communication again and not the distancing and everything.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was wild up here. I mean, I tried to take advantage of connecting with people just primarily from Facebook Live, but that still wasn't the same after
It's
like
not
a
the
couple
same.
months. It wasn't the same
No.
after a couple of months. It's a great thing technology-wise, though. If you're doing a live show and you have a tripod stand and you and Tom are at home, you're prepping for like the next day. Oh, there's the guy, Sammy Blanchett. There he is. Yeah, and then you could type in the comment section, "Play me Wagon Wheel," and then I'd look and I'd be like, "Oh God, Wagon Wheel." I'm like.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will you play it for me?
Sure, absolutely. Can I play it in a different key? Can I take the capo down and put it all the way? Can I take a 5-hour guitar solo? Maybe?
Sure.
Sure, yeah. I'll give you a lawn chair also, too, just
Okay.
like down to the roots.
All right.
Make you guys comfortable at home. So, what else? Anything else on the docket that you want to talk about before we sign off?
Just October 5th, the Music Jamboree.
Yeah.
And the menu changing to more of a Southern comfort food coming in November
Hell yeah, awesome. And tell the folks again where they can find you.
at the Old Town Farm Inn
And online.
and online, Facebook and Instagram. Queen of the South Kitchen has its own Facebook page, obviously, and so does the Old Town Farm Inn.
That's fantastic. And I'm going to have to make you a little trophy when I go to Connecticut and volunteer at my family's business shop for one day, my old stomping
Yes.
grounds. Make you a little trophy to being the first debut restaurant entrepreneur and owner
well,
on the Tasty
thank
Twist
you,
podcast.
Sammy.
Yeah. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
You want to come back?
Of course.
If I wasn't on vacation, I'd say we get everybody back here for Halloween for a Halloween podcast. We all pick our favorite costumes.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Next year. If this is still going on next year, which I'm assuming it will, we'll do that.
That sounds good.
Or we could all dress up as Santa Claus and the elves for Christmas, do a Christmas episode.
Ooh, I love Christmas.
Just got to make sure that you're not naughty. You got to be nice.
Yes.
Is he nice most of the time too? Saint Nick? I don't know. What about Rudolph? Rudolph's got to be nice.
Yeah, I think Rudolph's probably nice.
I just don't know why you got a red nose. Is it just because of Christmas? Was it a marketing ploy like George Carlin always said, the late great? You know, like his whole thing on like the commandments with religion. 10 just sounds efficient. You think it was that? Yeah.
Was it? No, his red nose was so Santa could see the way.
Yeah, it's got to be hot if you touch the red nose. It's got to be like 110 degrees. So they say
Probably.
don't touch.
Wonder how many amps or volts it is, or watts.
They turn it up to volume 12 like Jimi Hendrix always used to do. Crank it now. I burned my finger the other day on the toaster. It was not fun. No, it's still recovering. But it's still there. See, it's got a little, right. Hey there. See it, right?
Oh,
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
I'm not very empathetic to that kind
I know. Yeah, just put some dirt on it, right? As Peyton Manning used to say. That's all right. Shake it off, Johnny. Rub some dirt on it or something.
Well, you're cooking with grease every day in commercial ovens. I'm not,
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Suck it up, Buttercup, as they
Exactly.
say. Yeah. Guys, this has been a fantastic episode number 19 of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. Ronica Humphrey, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Tom,
Sammy.
Tom, you're out there in the distance. Thank you, sir. I know you're out there. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Peter, Rebecca, Patrick, everybody here in Okemo Valley TV land. We'll catch you all next time. Peace.
Peace out,
Cub Scout.
Girl Scout.
Don't you worry now, my darling. Woo! Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. You can watch all the episodes of this podcast on Okemo Valley TV's YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. You can visit their website, okemovalley.tv, consider downloading their mobile app, or watch them on live television via VTEL, channel 166 and 167, Comcast 1076 and 1086. Are you interested in supporting a local media station? Please consider becoming a member today. Visit okemovalley.tv for more information.